Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about Hulu's Freakish Season 1. The review. So, I've already reviewed the first 3 episodes. Just a small recap. Freakish is a show about a group of teenagers trapped in a school. Zombie apocalypse happened and they're trying to survive. I very much love this show. It's a very good, dramatic zombie show. The first couple of episodes, like first 3 or so, very zombie-like. But then by the 4th episode, the zombie action starts to kick up every episode. And it's really nice to see something unique and different than most zombie shows. For the most part, this has been considered as like The Walking Dead meets The Breakfast Club. It's a bunch of teenagers with completely different personalities and attitudes. They can't get along, but what brings them together is the bond to stay alive once the zombies start, trying to eat them and stuff. They call their zombies freaks, but they do know what zombies are because of movies. See, a chemical factory blew up and it released chemicals all in the air, and the chemical fog has not dissipated. You smell those fumes and you turn into a zombie. You get bit and you turn into a zombie. And so like now into like the other episodes, episode 4, Mary has just now been zombified and she cuts her restraint with her teeth and she's wandering around the school as a zombie. Everybody finds out and they start arming themselves with weapons. And so Mary, now these zombies are not like your typical zombies. They don't walk slow or stagger. They run fast. And I love the way the camera work is. It really makes you have a sense of fear when the zombies are trying to attack somebody. The cameras are constantly like shaking around. It's going fast. The camera, the film is like sped up. You know, like it makes you wonder, like, God, if these type of zombies was on The Walking Dead, the group that we know and love would be gone already, probably, and stuff. And so, yeah. Now, Mary, she is hungry and she wants some noodles. Why? Because there's a character in the show called Noodle. And so as Deshaun and Zoe, they're like trying to look for Noodle because he doesn't know Mary's loose. They go into the gym, they're walking around, and boom, Zoe finds Mary chomping away at Noodle. Guts are everywhere. And so Mary sees her and tries to like chase after her. And so this whole episode just spent them trying to like catch Mary and Mary trying to like eat them and stuff. And Deshaun is pissed that his best friend Noodle has now died and stuff. And he blames Grover. And so, well, he don't really blame Grover. He blames Mary, but he wants to kill Mary. And Grover will not let nobody harm his sister. They all want to kill him. So they have a huge debate. Should they or should they not? And Grover lets them know straight up. You know, just like a day ago, this was my sister. You all talked to her. You know, she played the violin music and, you know, she loved her parents. She loved this, she loved that. And, you know, you just can't, like, kill her and stuff. Me and my friend had a very similar debate. I told her a while back, if the zombie apocalypse ever happened, I'm taking every weapon I got and I'm going to make sure I survive this thing. And she's all like, you can't do that. These are like people. I'm like, no, they're not. They're zombies. And she's like, well, they used to be people and they still look like people and blah, blah, blah. And so I started rethinking. I'm like, yeah, she kind of has a point. But it's kind of like this. I won't go on no like zombie killing spree, but if I'm out and about and they're trying to like grab me or something like that, then yeah, I'm going to defend myself. This is just all hypothetical. There's no such thing as zombies, but you know what I'm saying. So I get what Grover is saying and stuff. Like you just can't like kill her and stuff. So as they're all like, you know, she's trapped by the way in like one of the down in the basement, and so like they decide, okay, fine, they're not gonna kill her, just gonna keep her trapped there. Well, Barrett, the little punk of the group, he decides that this is a perfect time to start testing out experiments on the zombie, because we need to know what their weaknesses are. And so Barrett, oh no, Garrett, Grover won't let him. But when like everybody else is away, here comes Barrett with a blowtorch, and he starts like, um, going near Mary with it and stuff. Well, at some point in time, Grover goes down there to check on Mary, and he sees that there's a blowtorch on the ground. He knows it's Barrett, so he attacks him, and like talking about how can you do that to my sister? Like you're torturing her and you're burning her. And he's all like, no, I'm testing her and everything. And the group is kind of like okay with that. So at some point, Grover decides he can't let his sister suffer. So he's just going to straight up kill her with a spear. And so he holds it up towards her. And as she's snarling and growling and everything, he's just about to like do it, and then the episode ends. By episode 5, like he's down below in the basement on the ground looking sad, distraught, like really upset, and then Diesel shows up and scares him by mistake. And so then we see, like, we don't see Mary, and he's asked like what happened, but then all of a sudden we see Mary. She's still alive. He just couldn't bear to kill his sister. He doesn't know if his parents are like dead or not, because they haven't had no contact with the outside world. But so he's talking to Diesel, and for the first time those two started to bond, because those two did not like each other in the pilot. And so Diesel's like, what do you want to do with her and stuff, because eventually they have to do something with her. Well, they decide they're just gonna let Mary go out into the street and just let her wander. That way they don't have to kill her and everything like that. And so, it was a very sincere moment. But Barrett finds out, and he's pissed because he doesn't have a lab subject no more. Now, when it comes to Barrett, him and Violet are not getting along. Not getting along at all. See, Barrett is a very like snooty person, a smart person, a little bit of a rich person. And he thinks he's the ipso facto leader of the group. And so he decides he's going to start researching the people that he's surviving with. So he goes through all their like permanent files and stuff. And when he gets to Violet, like, he blames her for what happened in the explosion. He knows she's a chemist and everything, and that she has a temper and everything. And then so he like starts to, well, this happened in the last episode, number 4. So he starts to blackmail her and everything. And so when it comes to the debate of should they like, test on Mary or not, everybody voted, and she voted with Barrett. And so that really pisses off Grover, and he just doesn't want to have anything to do with it. But then she finally tells Grover in the next episode, number 5, that, he's been blackmailing her and all this other stuff. And, but Grover is still just kind of like, ugh, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, at some point in time, Deshaun, he starts to get delirious because he needs his insulin, and he cannot, he's running out. So he's starting to see Noodle, he's starting to see everybody as zombies. He flips, and he tries to like break down the door and get out. So everybody else has to like stop him and stuff. And so him and Diesel just wrestling to the ground, and Diesel is just like, I have to do what I gotta do, and he knocks him out. And he's all like, I've never done that to nobody before. Even though Diesel's a tough guy, like, he's never had to do that to somebody who didn't have it coming, And so, like, now they're all worried because they have to find this dude insulin. And Grover is just kind of like, this is a school full of thousands of students and teachers. Somebody's bound to have some. So they go searching through like everywhere in like school. But at some point in time, Diesel and Grover, when they're searching, they just kind of stop because they found like a bottle of alcohol. And then they start like, just start bonding again and stuff. Barrett, on the other hand, this dude is scum. He is despicable. He finds 2 EpiPens with insulin in it, but he decides he's gonna leak out one and completely emptied it, and then with the other one, he like is just gonna give it to Deshaun. And at first it's kind of like, well, what's his end game? And then so when he gives it to Deshaun, like, he's happy and stuff, and Zoe, she's happy, but then when Barrett talks to Zoe, she's kind of like, what do you want and everything. He's all like, well, thank you would be nice. And so we find out that Barrett has a huge crush on Zoe. He got rid of that one EpiPen because he's hoping that if Deshaun's out of the picture, he can get with Zoe. That's a little far-fetched for a teen drama horror show. But yeah, that lets you know exactly what this dude's intentions are. And it gets worse after that when it comes to Barrett. But when it comes to Barrett, now he has made contact with the outside world and has been talking to like a military person. And so nobody knows that Mary found out, but she had got zombified at that point. But anyway, what is it? When they're all like, hanging out and everything, because they're running out of food and stuff, they decide, Violet decides now would be a good time to write the names of everybody that they lost from the zombie apocalypse on a giant wall at school. And so they write everybody's name in big bold letters and they start coloring it. And it's a really nice thing. It's a mural of like their friends. And because she said when this is all over, at some point somebody's going to see this wall and remember the lives that have been lost. And you just don't always see that in zombie shows. But then at some point Diesel comes in because he was in the bathroom and he realizes the water's not working. He goes to everybody, he lets everybody know all of the water has been shut off. And so now they are gonna die of like thirst. So with the new water crisis, the gang has to like find every like bottle of water and like juice and soda, whatever they can find. They don't have much, especially all the people there. So at some point in time, we get a scene with Zoe and Natalie, and they finally explain why Zoe really hates Natalie so much, because there was some tension with them in earlier episodes. Turns out that they both got like alcohol and they was in the car, and Natalie freaked out because she didn't want to get in trouble, and she just took off running and left Zoe in like the medium of like the road and stuff. And the cops came, busted her. Her parents were disappointed in Zoe, talking about should have raised you better, stuff like that. And so that would cause the rift. Then they started talking more about how they miss each other. They give each other a hug, and Zoe finds out that Natalie is pregnant. And so Natalie told Diesel, she didn't even tell her baby daddy that he got her knocked up and stuff. And so they all tell the gang. And Deshaun's all like, you need extra water because you're going to be a mom and stuff like that. They realize they need to find water fast. So in a future episode, you see like Diesel, he's like chopping up some ice and trying to make that into water. One thing they didn't suggest, which I'm kind of glad they didn't because it's gross, is like you can actually drink your pee. But you have to boil it for like a long time, and you drink what's like the residue left over, and that turns back into water. You drink that, and then your pee turns black. It's gross, it's nasty, and I learned that in college and on the Big Bang Theory. So anyway, so they decide, okay, they can't stay in the school much longer. They need to like get out, and they need to get out fast. So they look at the blueprints of the school to see what they can do with the water situation. But then they found like there's like a bunker down below. Well, that's where all the zombies are. But in the bunker are gas masks, because it used to be like a bomb shelter for like back in the war, back in the day. So they all like, well, how are we gonna get into that room full of zombies and everything? And then Violet suggests that she can get in there by making chemicals because she's a chemist. And so Barrett doesn't like believe her. Well, he kind of does and kind of doesn't, but he doubts her that she can make like knockout gas and stuff. But she said in order to get the chemicals, she has to go in this one room. Can't go through the halls and stuff like that because it could be zombies. Because there's a zombie somewhere in that little corridor area. So they figured they're gonna go through the vents. And so they devised a plan. And and sometimes every now and then you'll get like a character talking on their cell phone recording a message. First it was Mary, then it was like Zoe and like Natalie and stuff. And Zoe was talking about how everybody doubts her. They don't think she's strong and they think she's a coward, but she's going to prove to them that she can do it. There's only two people small and skinny enough to go through the vents. And it's Violet and it's Zoe. And so like Deshaun doesn't want her to go. He wants to do it, but like, you can't, you too big. So they go through the vents. I do appreciate they actually use small corridor vents for this scene. Because vents aren't that big. Like normally you see them in a TV show or movie, they're wide and huge. And a lot of them just aren't like that. I don't know if they use the real vents or whatever because they are on location. So, And so like they go through there and when they get down below, they see there are no zombies. So they're getting what chemicals they need to. But then in comes a zombie. And it's a pretty cool fight scene. Like I said before, I love it when the zombies run around trying to chase and eat people. They do it so well. It's so fast. Your eyes can't focus on one like area of the screen because it's just going around like so fast. And that's good like tension building and fear. So they struggle and then Violet stabs like the zombie, but they edited it wrong. She stabs it towards the right of the shoulder or stomach area. And then when they cut to the next scene, it's now on the left. So bad editing. And they get what chemicals they need and they head on out of there. Well, at some point in time, the zombie wakes up because she didn't stab him through the chest or the head. I think on this one you have to do him in the head. So next thing you know, this is what's strange. The zombie at some point off screen took the spear out its like stomach, side, shoulder area, whatever. These zombies still have a little bit of intelligence. So much that this zombie climbs up on the table and goes through the vent. I've never seen a zombie in the vent other than in Fear the Walking Dead. So this is kind of cool. However, there is a huge error. It has been stated that, and we also saw this, the corridors and the vents are really small. Only really skinny people can go through there. This zombie dude is bulky. I don't know how the world he was able to fit through that thing. And they literally stated and shown us that nobody can fit through there but skinny people. So that's bad editing on their part. So she makes her concoction and Barrett still doesn't believe she's that smart to make knockout gas. But somebody saw that it was Grover. Grover saw that, what's his face? Barrett was talking to somebody on the radio. They still have no idea who. And so like he tells everybody, they're pissed at him. And like, so Zoe gets so pissed, what's her face? Violet gets so pissed, she opened up the canister of the ether and puts it in Barrett's face and he's knocked out like a light. But Diesel was next to him. So Diesel is half knocked out. They tell her why to do that for. You lost your temper, blah, blah, stuff like that. Anyway, so she tells them they got 20 minutes. It's gonna be Grover, Violet, and Deshaun. They're gonna go inside the bunker area, throw the gas, then go get the gas mask. And they only got 20 minutes before they wake up. So while they're doing that, we get a scene with Diesel and stuff, and he's just pissed and, at Barrett and talking about like, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? And so at some point in time, Barrett wakes up. And so Diesel's like, oh crap. So he runs and tells the other two girls, Barrett's up, which means that Violet miscalculated. And those zombies are gonna wake up soon. This is a huge error because when Violet gasses Barrett, she does it way before she gasses the zombies. And so, but we don't know exactly how much time passed, but some time did pass and stuff. But I don't know exactly how much, but some time did pass. It seemed like it was a little bit of a lot, but not really. So in a way, when she gasses him earlier than she gasses the zombies, it's like, it's weird because it shouldn't. Barrett was only out for like 10 minutes. And she gassed him before the zombies, but the zombies wake up the exact same time Barrett does. That's like a huge error right there. So of course chaos ensues, and they're like struggling, and but then Violet and Deshawn's able to get out the room, but Grover smelt some of the gas from the canister and got knocked out. Deshawn's like, well, we ain't going back in there. He's a goner. It's suicide to go in there. He eventually wakes up. Zombies are just chasing the crap out of him. This dude is acting like Spider-Man, jumping on tables, climbing up like this and that. The dude is doing everything he can to get on out of there. And but eventually he bangs on some door that say let him out, and they eventually let him out. But then the zombies trying to come in there to close it really fast. So he gets the gas mask. They're happy, they're excited, they're cheering them on, they're drinking alcohol. But Diesel realizes something. The filters in the gas mask are literally just turned to dust. But there's only one working one left. So they have to decide who's going to be the brave soul to go outside and look for what they need. So they put all their names in like a box, doing like a lottery type thing, figure out who it's going to be. It's Diesel. So Diesel's like, I can do this, but he's acting kind of weird. And they're all like, dude, what's wrong with you? He puts on the mask. He's claustrophobic. And so they know he can't do it. So they're like, we got to do this again. So Barrett draws the name. It's Zoe. And he said, Deshawn. He is doing his best for Deshawn to die so he can get what's her name. That is jacked up. Teenagers, man. He's gonna do whatever he can to get the girl. So Zoe's all like, you're not going out there. And he's like, I have to, blah, blah, stuff like that. So they make him a makeshift hazmat suit out of like a raincoat and some garbage bags. They duct tape him up, make sure nothing can leak out. They put on the gas mask. They give him a spear with a blade to it. And he goes outside in the fog. As soon as he goes out, boom, a zombie comes up behind him, but he doesn't see it, trying to get into the doors. And so they don't hear from him from like hours and stuff. And when they finally do hear from him, you can tell that they just use inside of a building, pretend like it's outside. He's going around the fog, like you can just tell. And he's going around everywhere, like there are just dead bodies being eaten dead, zombies, this and that, intestines coming off. They do a great job on the makeup. A small budget little show on the streaming, they did a good job with stuff like this. And so like they're really picking up the zombie action these last couple of episodes. And he's just walking around talking. He's in the ambulance. He sees something like the radio to the ambulance, and he's trying to like call somebody, but he gets grabbed by something, and then that's the last they hear of him in that episode. And so Zoe is freaking out because she was talking to him on the radio, the walkie-talkie and stuff. And so like she's upset, and of course here comes Barrett trying to console her. At this point in time, Violet and Grover, they're bonding more, and now they're making out and stuff. Like, it's funny because she went from like just not even like caring about him and just being irritated because she's the hot girl and he's the guy trying to get on her, to the point now she's letting him get on her because they've been through so much and stuff. And so like Natalie and Diesel, they're bonding more, so much so that he tells her, why he's in, like, well, before he tells her that, why he was in detention, he tells her, like, well, first she tries to kiss him. He backs up and says, like, I can't do this. This is a mistake. She's offended. He comes back like an hour later, explains why. He tells her basically he's no good for her because he's a violent person. And he tells her why he got put in detention. He beat some kid up. And she's all like, I don't care, and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And then so they start kissing and making out on the couch. And like as soon as they're like doing that, there's a person with a flashlight walking up to the door. I assumed it was Deshawn. No, it's a man in an actual hazmat suit. And it's like, whoa. And he's all like, I'm here to rescue y'all. Turns out he's some kind of government worker, military dude who's like rescue. And he comes in and like they're happy, they're excited. Barrett is very suspicious because he says somebody's been contacting him on the radio, contacting his people on the radio, and this and that. And so Barrett was very suspicious of that, and we'll find out why later. He says he has a vaccine. He says there's a group of people in the van supposed to come and get y'all and everything. So he said, gather all your stuff. About an hour from now, he's gonna give you some. He gave him some water to drink and all this other stuff. So Barrett is very cautious, and he's all like, "So we take this vaccine and what?" And he's all like, "You'll be able to walk around outside and breathe like the toxic air." He said, "Well, if that's true, then why did you come in with a hazmat suit?" Good question. You know what I'm saying? So there's something up with this military dude, and he has a gun. And so, like, as he's constantly questioning him, the other kids are just like, dude, you being an idiot. Like, this dude's here to save us. So the dude's like asking, like, their names, how many people are there. He was very surprised that, like, Barrett was able to build a radio and everything and communicate with people. And so as they're like doing their things, getting like excited and everything, Barrett is on the computer, and now he sees that he deletes a bunch of files. Those files had Keller Enterprises, which is the chemical plant that blew up and caused all this mess. She tells the military dude. Barrett takes one of the vacs and takes off running. And Grover finds him. He's all like, "Man, like, what are you doing?" And so the military dude tells the rest of the group that Barrett is wanted by the FBI, and they think he has something to do with the, blowing up the chemical factory. So Barrett tells Grover that I don't like you all are too willing to trust somebody who came out of the blue and has a vaccine. There's no way in like overnight they're gonna 2 nights they're gonna create like a vaccine and cure everybody. Like he just doesn't trust that person. Plus the whole radio thing. He tells Grover that the people he's been in contact with are hackers. He's part of a hacking group that's supposed to expose like the chemical plant, similar to how Resident Evil was in the first movie. And so he knows for a fact he wasn't talking to no other government people. He was talking to his people and stuff. So he's very suspicious of that dude. And so he tests one of the vacs out on the guinea pig that Noodle was playing with earlier a couple of episodes ago. And he's all like, he believes it's poison. So anyway, military dude is like looking for them, but in comes like a zombie. Oh, I forgot to mention, Grover kills his very first zombie the episode prior. He found out there was a teacher staying in the building and she's been living and camping out, but they had no idea. And we never see her till this point. And she's zombified. So he takes something and he kills her with it. So they know now if you kill a zombie in the head, these one will die. And he's a little distraught. He should have been more distraught. They really didn't play it up. Because he is upset for killing this woman who was zombified, but they didn't play it up like he's traumatized, and they really should have, So back to the military dude. He sees the kids in there. Oh, he sees Grover and Barrett. They struggle. He gets away. There's a zombie trying to get Grover. The military dude shoots it in the head, and then he like sees he asks where's Barrett. So he takes him back in the room with the guinea pig. They can't find him, but then the guinea pig is now dead. So that was poison in that vax, and so like they're still now looking for Barrett, and then Grover finds him knocked out on the floor. He turns around, military dude knocks him out. They wake up, they're tied to a room. He wants to know why the military dude didn't kill them if he's going to inject them with poison. Barrett says it's because of the whole FBI thing and the hacking thing. He wants to like torture him, but they don't understand why he left Grover alive. We find out in the next season. It's getting pretty interesting. So then he goes back to the group and he tells them it's time for your vax. And Natalie is the first one and actually takes it. Yeah. Then we go to the very last episode, the finale of season 1. So in the 10th episode of season 1, we see that the kids are still talking to like the government dude, and then in comes Barrett and Grover, and they just straight up knock the dude out, and he tells them straight up that that's poison and not a vaccine. So they tie him up, and as they're tying up, they're trying to like interrogate him, try to get some information, but he doesn't really want to tell them what to do. So Diesel ends up injecting him with the poison. And he straight up tells me like, yeah, it's poison and this and that. Y'all know too much and stuff like that. And it's a nice little cover up. But here's the thing: when Barrett was going through his stuff, he finds out that the man is not a government official. He works for Keller Chemicals, and so like they're trying to cover up the whole zombie apocalypse thing. And so everybody is just straight up worried for Natalie because she knows, like, her time is numbered and stuff. And so, like, Zoe's constantly asking, like, every 30 seconds, like, how you doing and stuff like that to make sure she's all right. And then at some point in time, blood starts to drip down from her nose. So she knows that, yeah, this is truly poison and it's going to kill her and stuff. Well, at some point, Diesel is pissed with the gun in his hand. The security guard dude, gun in his hand, and so like he really wants to shoot Collins, which is the name of the dude who poisoned Natalie. And so like what they didn't do. See, whenever you tie somebody up, always look at the back of their hands and search them, because he has a razor blade and he's cutting loose the duct tape. When he frees himself, him and Diesel just like going at it. They're like, it's just like, this huge like struggle. And then Diesel shoots Collins in the knee, but then Collins gets the gun. As Diesel's running away, he shoots Diesel in the side. So then when the kids hear like, what's going on, they start looking for Diesel and they find him and he's bleeding. So they attending to his wounds, but now they have to go look for Collins. So they split up because he's searching for them and stuff. But then, like, what's her name? Violet ends up meeting him and he puts a gun to her head and he asks for his suit back. So Grover doesn't want her to get killed, so he gives him back the hazmat suit. Grover's dumb. He should have put a hole in the hazmat suit so the dude can breathe like the chemicals outside. But Grover is smart. He ends up planting a cell phone on the back of the tank, the breathing tank, and then he has it set for the alarm. So when the alarm goes off, all of the zombies go and they eat the crap out of Collins and stuff. Guts and intestines everywhere just coming out. So then, like, when they were going through his stuff, Grover found something, but we don't know what it is just yet. He puts it in his pocket. Violet sees it, but he doesn't really tell her what it is. But it turns out to be a picture of him and his father. The guy had it, so that's why he kept Grover alive. Because Grover's dad works for the chemical company. Well, before the Collins left, he still has to make sure the kids are dead. Because he only has 4 bullets left. And so he unleashes the zombies down in the basement. And he makes a lot of loud noise so they can come up. Once Collins is dead and everything, boom, zombies come out the woodworks. So the kids, they go out of town, man. They're stabbing the zombies. They're like spiking them in the head. They're like really like, it's like a bloodbath and stuff. But it's that fast paced stuff. And it ain't that much blood. But yeah, they just going at it. And Violet's just like a stab it. But yeah, man, Violet's just like stabbing this one zombie all up in the stomach with a knife. And Zoe takes this giant spike thing and spikes one in the head. It's like insane. But then more and more are coming, so they all get trapped in the room. And there's no end in sight. Like, there's just more and more zombies coming. Well, Natalie, she realizes that if she can lure the zombies away, her friends can, like, get to safety. And since she's dying from the poison, she makes the ultimate sacrifice. Like, it was one of the most heartbreaking things I had ever seen. And they don't really do, like, Madison did this on Fear the Walking Dead, but it wasn't as heart-wrenching as this. When Madison did it, it was just like dull and boring in season 4. But my God, when Natalie did this, man, you feel something. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, she's there and she's making noise and she's just standing there and everybody's like, oh, the zombies are going away. But then they're like, hey, where's Natalie? And then Diesel's like, oh my God. So he runs out. And then you see all the zombies just like take her down. And she's scared and frightened. And like her hands are just like all in the air. And like they're just like ripping her apart. And it goes like, you don't hear them ripping her apart because it goes like mute. But all you hear is the music. It's like a montage. And it's just her in pain, just getting eaten. And Diesel's just like beside himself, beyond distraught. Like everybody's trying to hold him back. Then you see like this montage of everybody's reaction. There are people crying. They're like holding each other. Diesel's like flipping tables and just like holding his head. Like it. This is a teen zombie show, and I feel more from this than I do Fear the Walking Dead or lately The Walking Dead. Like, this is insane. And you have to remember, not only is she a teenager, but she's pregnant too. So her baby is gone, but her baby was gonna die anyway from the poison. So, like, everybody's consoling each other, and of course, they go Barrett. Consoling Zoe as she's in his arms on the couch and he's just stroking her. He's finally getting his wish. Like, Deshaun's gone, her friend's gone, she's upset. So before he can make his move, we start seeing Boots walking by in a makeshift hazmat trash bag suit. It's Deshaun. And he sees those two cuddling. So I'm thinking to myself, oh man, he's gonna beat Barrett up. But no, Zoe like runs in his arms and gives him a big hug. But then he tells them, like, I'm sorry. They followed me here. I'm like, who? And then next thing you know, you see all these flashlights near the door. And then you see people walking up to it. It's survivors. And then it ends. And it goes into next season. And next season is crazy. They go a little Resident Evil and everything, which kind of bugged the crap out of me. But it's still good. Even though they kind of jumped the shark just a tiny bit, which probably pissed people off to why it was only didn't get renewed for a third season. But yes, a lot of crazy stuff happens. And some of the main cast will die. I can't wait to review the second season. I'm a little slow getting to it because of some other stuff, but yeah, I'm trying to hurry and do all this stuff for like October, but I might go a little bit into November with more Halloween stuff because I wasn't really able to touch on some of the things I wanted to touch on, like that Hulk animated movie that a lot of people don't know about and stuff. But yeah, Freakish is a very good show. It's a little slow for the first 3 episodes, especially the first one, but you have to build up these characters and who they are. And then after that, the intensity happens, the thrills happen, the suspense happen, and the zombie action happens. Boy, I tell you. Now wasn't that spooky? Alright, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.